Hi, I'm unfortunately not going to be able to have like a really pretty cool thumbnail to cap off this video, but I just wanted to do a very quick, almost complete book review of Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. It's not going to be a surprise to anyone that has seen any of my previous videos, but I just have to say that this is amazing rom-com. I mainly have maybe 20% left in the book or so, maybe even less. But I'm pretty sure and definitive that it's going to be like a 5-star rating for me. I love it so damn much. So Eve is obviously the main protagonist of this story, along with her love interest Jacob. And how it starts off with is Eve is essentially getting kicked out of her home by her parents. Her other two sisters that were in the previous novels, Get a Life Chloe Brown and Take a Hint Danny Brown, which I've also read both of those. And I have to say, Take a Hint Danny Brown is one of my first favorites of 2021. But Eve was the only sister that was left in the house, and she has a really hard time with focusing and concentrating. She has a fear of failure, and a lot of times she tries a lot of things, but once the pressure gets too much, she tends to kind of bail. And it's illustrated really clearly from her perspective, but from the perspective of her parents, they think that she's just really flighty and irresponsible. So they essentially kick her out the house and say, you need to act your age, you need to grow up, you need to go out there, find something to do and stick with it and actually earn your keep. So she kind of runs out of the house, still highly emotional, because obviously that's something really traumatic to just be kicked out your home. Even though she is in her 20s, you know, she was just really taken aback by it. So she goes out, she ends up stumbling across this bread and breakfast, and it's looking for applicants for a new position for a chef. So she decides to go in on a whim for this interview, encounters Jacob, which is her love interest, and another character, Mont, who is adorable, I have to say. And the interview kind of goes well on Mont's end, but Jacob immediately takes a dislike to her, even though he's low-key attracted to her but doesn't realize it. But he kind of takes a dislike to her, and she obviously takes a dislike to him because he made it quite known that he thought her entire presentation was irresponsible. She didn't come with a CV because, you know, she had just ran out of her home and wasn't expecting to go into this interview, but happened to see that they were looking for someone for the chef position. So they kind of get off on a rough side of things, and she ends up wowing Mont, the other interviewer. So she kind of leaves a lasting impression that's good on Mont, but not so much on Jacob. But they end up chasing after her once she leaves to go get her to do kind of like a short trial period to see. And somehow she ends up hitting Jacob in a mini fender bender, which sounds crazy as an opening sequence for a romance to start, is the main character hitting by accident her love interest in a car accident. It sounds really kooky and crazy, but don't let that deter you from getting into the story. It is really, really well done. The chemistry is on point, and Talia Hibbert does a really great job in laying down the foundation of Eve kind of going into a self-discovery of potentially being someone that has autism or is on the spectrum of autism. And Jacob, her love interest, also is autistic, and he's still, you know, highly functioning, extremely bright, extremely intelligent, running this bread and breakfast, has his passions of his own, and just turns out to be a really incredible guy for Eve. And she kind of starts getting the realization, you know, a lot of my behaviors and a lot of my triggers and a lot of what I see in myself is reflected in him. And that's when she kind of goes on her self-discovery, and the romance is just worth it. Talia Hibbert has an amazing way with dialogue, with language, and you feel like 300 pages kind of goes by in a blink. I felt with every book just got better and better for me in the order the three books came from, and they came in. The first book, Get a Life, Chloe Brown, would probably be my least favorite, but I don't say that negatively because it's still a good romantic comedy and it's still a good introduction into the Brown sisters trilogy. But then definitely Take a Hint, Danny Brown is like my favorite, and I think actor Eve Brown is even my favorite, even more so than that one. So with every book in the trilogy, it just gets better and better. And let me tell you, the chemistry in this one is fire. It's 10 times hotter than the other two. Just take that as you will. But I just wanted to make this review abundantly clear that this is like top tier romantic comedy, and I have to feel pretty confident saying so. Not even finishing the book, but I'm almost done. If you can see where my bookmark is, it's a great book. Pick it up. It's fantastic. If you're looking for a lighthearted romantic comedy to kind of get you through a reading slump, or if you just want to get into the world of Talia Hibbert and her romances, definitely this book, definitely the trilogy. Get into it, please. That's my spiel for tonight. I'm going to take a rest because I went for this jog/walk. I'm exhausted. I just want to finish the book and kind of de-stress. So till the next video, peace.